Hi, this is Brooks Whittington with halfwheel.com, and today we're taking a look at the SV-Cut, a cutter from Colibri that combines the company's S-Cut and V-Cut cutters into one attractive package. There are 5 different finishes that the SV-Cut comes in. All of them look exactly the same except for the colors, and all of them cost the exact same $75. Now, the advantages to the cutter are, there is a few of them. Number one is the build quality. It's extremely well built. You don't have to worry about it scratching. You don't have to worry about the finish coming off. You don't have to worry about fingerprints or lint or even dust. None of that stuff stays on here. It's very well built. The cutter itself is extremely sharp. There's no issues when it comes to cutting the actual cigars themselves. I never had an issue in terms of not something to cut that isn't straight or clean or anything like that. It's very, very nice in that regard. Number 2 thing that I loved about this cutter, versatility. Obviously that's the point of the cutter, but the idea is that you can carry around one cutter and have 2 cutters worth of cutters there. So the idea to combine these 2 cutters, the S-Cut and the V-Cut, into one package is very, very good idea. The cutter is actually, the SV-Cut is actually thinner than both of these cutters combined. I do not recommend trying to carry around 2 cutters. I've done that before and it's very annoying. And this is a very good example of what you can do when you combine the 2 cutters. Also, another great advantage is the price. These 2 cutters retail for $39 a piece. This one retails for $75. Therefore, you are actually saving $3 by buying this in a more versatile and convenient package. So it's really a no-brainer in that regard. Now, there are some disadvantages as well, of course. As I'm carrying it around, and I did carry it around, the problem is weight. While the weight does help you when you're cutting cigars, especially larger ones because of the balance that it gives you, it also is extremely annoying to carry around in a pocket. I tried it and it's just something you're constantly thinking about it when it's in your pocket. I'm a big guy and even I thought to myself, that's really annoying. So it's very heavy in that regard. You don't want to be carrying it around unless you are annoyed less by things like that than I am. Number 2 thing that I was concerned about when I was using this was the idea that the tobacco that you cut this cigar with stays in the cutter itself after you cut it, and that's a good thing. You can put it over the the ashtray, and you can get rid of the remnants then. The problem is that as you cut this cigar, and then very nice clean cut by the way, and then you get rid of the remnants, which comes out like this, you can close the cutter and there's still, unfortunately, remnants left over. So even if you were to cut it and try to get all those remnants out, it never actually works. There's always remnants left over inside. It's not something you can get rid of very easily or even at all. And something that annoyed me every time I opened it up. There's little pieces of tobacco that came out. The third thing that I wasn't overly impressed with when it comes to this is the idea that when you're cutting a straight cut on the cutter itself, you can't really tell exactly how far you're cutting because the other side of the cutter is actually blocking your view. So when you cut a cigar here, you can actually cut way too much off of it, and I did a number of times. You have to be very careful when doing that. What I found is that you can just cut this just a little bit off, just a tad. That's actually too much, as you can see. So you would actually cut that a little bit less, and then you would just cut in concentric. You just continue to cut until you got what you wanted. It's kind of annoying to do that, and not something that I really appreciated having to do every time. So I found myself cutting more V-cuts than anything else just for that very reason. And it works fine for that. So the idea that as long as you can get over those minor issues, you've got a cutter that is excellent in just about every other way. It's versatile, it's very well built, it's cheap for what you're getting in my opinion, and it's perfect for carrying around in a bag or something of that nature. You can't go wrong with it, and something that I highly recommend.